Lower the chin a little bit, it's cool just there. And again for you, darling. Keep it. Great shot. Hi, I'm Mark Clugwell and welcome to the LASTOLITE School of Photography. Today we're here with our model Tia and we're going to be looking at how we use the TRIFLECTOR. The TRIFLECTOR is pretty much an invincible tool for the portrait photographer. We use it pretty much every session, especially when we're doing the simple headshots like we're doing here. And the great thing about it, it can work with just one light. So if you're on a limited budget as far as the equipment's concerned, you can pretty much actually get amazing photographs with little or no effort thanks to this fantastic little accessory. What are we doing? The first thing is to bounce some of the light. So you'll see up here we have a softbox for now, but we're going to change that round during the session anyway to actually allow the light to spread a little bit. But the softbox is pointed down a little so it hits the reflective panels. And we have 3 silver reflective panels here today, but they're available in different styles and finishes as well, depends on the kind of look that you're going for. And they're on like these kind of magic arms. And these magic arms work in such a way is that I can position them at any angle that I want towards the subject. Again, one of the main benefits is that if I don't want to wrap around the light and around the face, so if I want to create a little bit more of a three-dimensional kind of look, at any stage I can just drop down one of these panels and we change the style of photograph within seconds without having to move a light or whatever kind of thing with it. So we're going to change that instantly. But for now, we're just going to keep to the three panel look. And what this is doing, it's allowing the light to bounce around the face, and it just gives us this lovely, clean kind of look. You don't really want to be doing this kind of photograph, though, with somebody who's very fat in the face like I am. The reason being on that, it will just actually exaggerate the face size a little bit. But otherwise, when you have beautiful women as they are like Tia is, we can actually almost do anything we want to kind of thing with it. So the panels, as I mentioned, they tilt and move to enhance the light more. And if you think of the beach reflectors that we used to see in Saint-Tropez, you know, in the 70s, where the glamorous women used to have them underneath their chins to actually catch the light rays coming down from above. It's pretty similar actually what we're doing here, and we're getting a very similar effect, except this is controllable. That's the key point here, is control of light and controlling the reflectancy of it as much as anything else. So I mentioned to you before, they're available in different surfaces, so if I don't want as a reflection, kind of a crisp reflection of the light, a mirror-like, I can move from the silver perhaps to the white, or actually with one with a little bit more warmth. The first thing we need to do is get the exposure, and we need to be very accurate with this technique, because Paul, if you just come in for a minute please, whereas we'd usually point the meter towards the light source, if we did that we wouldn't allow for the reflectancy. And with this kind of style of photograph where we're trying to actually give like a porcelain skin, just that bleached out kind of look, with digital photography we need to have accurate control, okay? But here we're going to just tilt it down towards the light source, then I'll just pop my radio trigger, just to actually give us the exposure on that. 11.9. So we've got f16 there. And what we're going to boil this down to is 11.5. We're going to overexpose by half a stop. Why? Is because I want to help the porcelain skin and just bleach that out a little bit. If I'm not accurate with this, you'll find that when you take these images into Photoshop, especially if you're a JPEG photographer, I'm shooting in RAW, so it means I've got some room for recovery no matter what. Especially if I get Tia to move closer in or whatever with the lean and so on. We've got to make sure that we're getting these exposures, so we're going to have the detail there to print and not bleach anything out. So with that exposure in place, all I need to do now is just Tia, just lean into me just a little bit. If you cross those arms a little bit across there, it's just pushing through the bust a little bit, just actually increases the cleavage as well. Lowering the chin a little bit, darling. Keep it for me. Up with the chin a fraction. Whoa, that's lovely just there. And a quick look, and with no work at all, we've got an amazing photograph. Notice here though, we've just got a white wall behind us. We're not trying to do a fancy background. We haven't lit it yet, so that's why it looks quite grey. And when we light the background, we can go to a really kind of light and bright kind of look as well, kind of thing with it. So as far as the technique, that's it. This isn't Einstein stuff at all, I promise you. But what I want to show to you before we move on is the difference in the look of the photograph when we start to drop down these panels. Happy? That's cool just there, it's gorgeous. And again, up with the chin a touch. Brilliant. Okay, let's drop the left-hand panel down first, Paul. Push it down, that's it, mate. Great, and again for me, darling, keep it. And let's drop the other side down, please, Paul. Again for me, lowering that chin, darling. Keep again, and serious for me. And let's remove that fully, please, Paul. It's gorgeous in there again. Brilliant. So that's our build-up, but in fact what we've done is gone in reverse. You see that we used the TRIFLECTOR first, and then we dropped down the left-hand panel, the way I'm looking at the model. Then we dropped down the right-hand panel, and we dropped that away, and you can see that photograph. And then we removed it fully. And unless we see this image without the TRIFLECTOR in place, you don't realise how powerful that piece of kit is, I promise you, kind of thing with it. So let's just do that in reverse now, okay? So you can actually see what it's like without anything. Again, we'll build back up to the full tri to actually make sure we give that impact to the face. That's the main thing. You can see from that image, what we've got is the highlight in the bottom of the eye. And that's just giving us that lovely kind of glow and that life, but we're showing where the reflector is positioned. I'll just zoom in close so you can see it. Keep it. Brilliant. Great there. And now we can see that beautiful reflection right in the eye itself. And that's where we know we've got the crisp part of the light. Let's shoot that shot. It's beautiful just there. Okay, so we've seen that. The last thing is bringing in the other side of the reflector itself to illuminate the far side of the face. The only thing we've got to watch here is that if the subject was big, as I mentioned before, fuller in the face, this is going to not help them at all. So you might want to actually do this kind of style, but leave down one of the panels. That's really down for you to have a practice with and actually come up with the kind of concepts that you like. Let's do that for me. Up with the chin a touch, darling. That's beautiful just there. And again. Half a grin, go for it. Up with the chin a touch more. Big grin, go for it, girl. Excellent, just there. It's beautiful. And if I zoom in really close onto that now, we'll see those reflections in Tia's eyes. Keep it. Excellent. So we've just been doing some shots there with, as I mentioned before, my favourite accessory, the parabolic. And the parabolic is a reflector dish, and it has a nose cone to help diffuse the light and things, really. And this will also give us a sharper light onto the face because, A, it's got less softening before it hits her, and the inside of the dish is silver anyway, so it gives a much more sharper, specular light. But if you look very close into the catch light of the eyes, let me show you a minute. Turn the head this way a little bit more. So if we look really close at those eyes, we can see that the catch light has changed in its shape compared to the softbox. It's smaller now in size and it's sharper. Why? Because the light coming down onto the TRIFLECTOR is more condensed. In other words, it's a very small, shallow light, whereas the softbox was very large and soft. So we get a different kind of reflection into the eye anyway. And now what I'm doing, if you look just above the head, I'll show you now in a second more, but we've got an arc of light just above. And so we're beginning to light the background as well. Paul, can you just move this reflector panel up a little bit more, please, on this side for me? Notice that assistants always walk around me instead of actually through it in case I'm shooting anyway. It's just habit as much as anything else. That's it, Paul, we're there. Thank you. So I'll just shoot the close-up a minute to show you that the lighting quality hasn't changed at all on here. And just actually now, I'm just going to zoom back a little bit just to show you that shadow. So as we can see here, we've got a gradation caused by that light anyways. I zoom back. Well, we're not seeing much of it now because obviously it's just actually on the face, but we've still got this lovely soft light going through the actual image itself. Now if I just turn this light down a little bit and I just bring it back a touch more, you can see we're already beginning to light the top of the head far more than in the other photographs. But even compared to the softbox, the top of the crown of the head has been lit more anyway. We dragged in the black velvet background now, which is just this pop-up in the background. Folds away just like a normal reflector does, so it's very small, there's storage with it. And we've pretty much kept the same setup. However, when I'm using black velvet like I am now, especially with a client or a model with very dark or black hair, we need to separate them away from them. I'm just going to do a couple of shots first without the hair light on. I'm not sure if you can see on the video yet, but up in the top right hand corner up here, we've already put another luminate head in position with a honeycomb and a barn door on. Why? That's going to act for the hair. That's going to give us some sheen. Turn the head to me a little bit more, around here. It's gorgeous there. Little smirk, big smirk then, good girl, excellent, relax. Okay, so you can see, but you can see the problem I've got is the hair is beginning to actually merge into here. Now remember, we're running at f16 on this light. The power of it is 16.5 in fact, but our exposure is 16 because we want that kind of porcelain skin effect. Remember, we metered down towards the reflector panel. Paul, let's pop on that second head for me now, and that's going to be the hair light. Fingers crossed, Jay, the video guy. Jay, can you just make sure you can see that? If you switch it on and off for a minute, Paul, just to show Jay it, just actually on the top part of that hair, you can just see how the life of the hair just comes alive. And I do quite a lot of hairdressing photography anyway, and it's essential to make sure that we light the hair, obviously, in that kind of case. But exactly the same for a client here, where we're going against a black background. We need to make sure that it really stands out from the shot as well, kind of thing with it. I'll just show you that big difference in a minute. And you can see already on that one photograph. That's gorgeous there, T. Thank you very much. So even though we're using the TRIFLECTOR now in a slightly different way, because it's really designed for the head and shoulders kind of element, you can see that it's such a good piece of kit that we can use it for the three-quarter length, even when we're sat down. In fact, the TRIFLECTOR as well is great if we have 2 or 3 people and they're all stood up perhaps, and you can actually tilt them in towards each other, and you get this lovely kind of soft reflector kind of a shape, a kind of an arc going throughout the image itself. So it's a brilliant piece of kit to actually work with no matter what. Is that on full power there? Now it is, yeah? Okay, let's just do that, see what we can get out of it. And remember, we're working very close up. And you can see now we've just got that kind of lovely grey kind of tone on it. So if you want to work with two heads, you've got to decide on whether you're going to, I mean flash heads, not people, sorry T. If you want to work with 2 flash heads, you've got to decide on what am I doing? Obviously the one we need to light the face, the other, are we going to use that to light the hair, we're going to use that to light the background. We've still got the black velvet background on in the background, and we've still got that background light now, so it's not a hair light anymore, it's honeycombed. It's now a 3/4 of stop more than actually the main light here, just so we're going to get that kind of grey, a separation. That's the main thing with it. So I'm going to go through these, and then I'm just going to get a variety of images on a similar but a high key kind of style as well, with a pretty much similar set. So let's have a look. Okay. By the way, I'm using a fan just to actually allow the material to blow a little bit. Just gives a little bit of life to the eye as well, especially when I put it on full. Cool, it's there, it's gorgeous. Keep it. Again. Turn the head to look off. That's beautiful, it's there. Keep it. Beautiful. More. Turn the head back to the other way. Again. Lower the chin a touch. How cool a piece of kit is the TRIFLECTOR. It pretty much stays in my studio the whole time, but I know a lot of photographers who travel with these when they're working at clients' homes or offices. Why? Because it's basically an assistant on a stand, as well as being able to give us great results and things, really. Speaking about post-production, almost all the images that you would have seen from us today, if it was for the client, I would have been given some post-production within Photoshop, a softness to the skin and so on. I use some third-party plugins into Photoshop as well, the likes of On1 Photo Tools, to add some special effects or some kind of glow with it. So you get some great effects no matter what. But the main thing for me is trying to do as much as I physically can at the camera shoot time. Why? Because then that reduces the amount of actually post-production and that time you sit in front of your camera, in front of your computer, I should say. But again, TRIFLECTOR, brilliant piece of kit. I'm Mark Clegg for the LASTOLITE School of Photography. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.